Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Neca Toys Disney's Gargoyles Ultimate Lexington, the final member of the infamous triad of awesome, featuring Brooklyn, Broadway, and the man of the hour, Lexington, as well as the final member of the Manhattan clan from the Awakening 5-parter from the beginning of Season 1. And I say that because we got a couple more clan members on the way. One later today. That's right, you're getting 2 videos today because it's 2 for Tuesdays, at least for now, because I've been away for a while if you haven't noticed, so I need to play a little bit of catch-up, you know what I'm saying. And then tomorrow, we're going to wrap things up with the final member of the Manhattan clan, and I'm sure some of you have a good idea of who that is. Give you a hint. They don't have wings, at least not for themselves. So, with that being said, Lexington, in terms of accessories, comes with a pair of clawdad hands so he can rip your face off like the little imp-looking fella he is. I mean, seriously, he looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings with wings, or something of that nature. I can talk here, which we all know I can't, so I don't know why I'm saying that. He also comes with a secondary claw hand, which is more of a grabby claw, and a trigger finger hand, with the appropriate hinge, might I add. And this trigger finger hand is meant for his weapon of choice, the crossbow, which has this cool metal chain on it. And also comes with 4 arrows. They all look like this. You can see that there. And what you do is you actually put these in through the top. I have this facing the right way. And you just kind of slide them in like that. And there you go. That said, they fall right out. And then you can pull them back out. No problem. You do get 4 of these, so make sure you get them all out. I almost missed one. It was on my bed. That said, here it is compared to the vintage counterpart. And I'm a bit bummed out that NECA didn't try to give us this crazy gargoyle head arrow missile thing. That would have been really cool to have that sitting on the front here. But you get, just a standard crossbow, which I guess you could use this with Mythic Legions along with Brooklyn's Lance and Broadway's mace and axe, so that'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind getting the the spear from Stone Armor Goliath in this line at some point. I also wouldn't mind getting the glider for Bronx. That'd be really cool in some sort of accessory set. But that is it for Lexington's weapon there. Which, no, he doesn't use that in the show. He does also come with a Screaming Mimi head. Not so much Scream Bloody Gore. Teeth aren't painted the best on that either. They're kind of muddy, but yeah, it is what it is. Looks good enough. That said, he does come with a head set for his head. So if we bring that back in, much like Brooklyn's shades, I think you're going to want to store these on something so you don't risk damaging them. That said, I'm not sure if I can get these on here with him screaming like that. Should be able to. Yeah, there we go. They fit. Not the most snug fit on this head. They fit better on the head without the screaming mouth, but I just want them to be safe, Yeah, that's as good as that's gonna get. They're not gonna fall off, I don't think. But there you go. He's screaming into there like a PO'd wrestling announcer. So that's pretty cool. He also comes with a remote control. Unfortunately, the little nubbins do not articulate on here, although those are rather small. And that's your lot. That's all you get for accessories. Gotta tell you, a little light for the price point. He clocks in at the same price point as everyone else. That said, I kind of had the same problem with Bronx. He didn't come with enough for Bronx. Lexington, I think they could have squeezed in the cloak wings for Angela, if I'm being quite honest. They already got the mold from Demona, or the David Xanatos that came with Demona's cloak wings, that is. So they could have easily given us those, I think. Or better yet, Hudson's cloak wings, which we still don't know who's coming with those yet. That said, other than that, he does come with a remote control, but he does not come with the remote control. Is it a car, or is it like a little jet or something that he's playing with when they first moved to the clock tower? It would have been nice to get that. I guess you could use a Hot Wheel or something, but at the end of the day, it seems like a couple things are missing here. For the price point, I would have liked to have seen Angela's cape and maybe a car to go with that remote control. But, you know what? You could buy a lot worse for 40 bucks, so I'm not going to sit here and drone on about that. What I am going to tell you, though, is I did get this guy off Toy Stalker, much like Brooklyn and Broadway. So, much like those videos, I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you could check them out and use the discount code FREESHIP99 to get free shipping on all orders over 100 bucks or more. Because you gotta get a deal nowadays with the prices of these things being what they are. It's always nice to get a deal. That's what I've done more than once now. So, Toy Stalker, check them out. Link in the description. That said, I do have one little hiccup with my Lexington here, and it's in regards to his tail. If I can rotate this around. There's a little hole right here. You can see my finger there. Let me hinge this a little more. There. There's a little hole right here and right at the end of the tail. Now, we all know these tails have the bendy wire in them. That's cool. You can pose them and stuff. I think my Lexington's tail, the wire is too low in the tail. It goes right up to the tip here, and it's kind of starting to puncture it at the end there. And I think it should start here and end somewhere around here. If I'm not mistaken, that's where it kind of starts and stops on the other ones. Granted, they're bigger, but I think there's something a little screwy going on with my tail here. So I asked Toy Stalker to look into that when he's got time. They've helped me out before. They have great customer service. I highly recommend, if you got a problem, hit them up, and they'll do what they can to help you out. So when they have the time, I'm sure they will look into that. If I gotta watch some more reviews of this guy, then, you know, so be it. I have plenty of time to do that as well, and I'll figure something out. But long story short, probably gonna have to replace the tail on mine, which sucks, because other than that, this figure is, I think, one of the gems of this line. I had a lot of fun posing this guy, despite the fact that he's got the weirdest wings set up. I mean, moving his arm out here, you can't really pose this guy the easiest. He is not the easiest to pose. He's very small. You gotta be careful with these freaking shoulders because they're tighter than heck. But you could pose his arm up like that and get him in a flying pose. You might be able to pose him higher than that. I can't get him higher than that. I think if anyone should have been able to crack 90 in the shoulder, it should have been this guy. It just seems like that's a missed opportunity, but, you know, with the wings on the back being how they are, they do have little hinge joints, and let me show you something. You can pop these out and get the hinge joints to work, but they don't really allow you to do a whole lot. So we're going to leave that unplugged for the moment, and we'll look at the articulation. So his head's on a double ball peg. You get a lot of range out of that because he's bald and doesn't have Brooklyn's flowing Motley Crue Metallica locks. More so Metallica than the Crue, I think. But he can look all the way up. He can look down. He can tilt side to side. He can rotate his shoulder, as you saw. Can move up quite a bit, but I don't think it can move past 90. I got it up a little bit higher just now. So let me plug this back in. It doesn't want to go back in. There. Yeah, the thing is, you can't really get his wings in the best flight pose because they should be straight like this. They should be like fully stretched out. You should be able to fully stretch them out and straighten them out so he can do that flight pose, but you really can't. And that kind of sucks, but that's the best I can do without rotating the shoulder all the way around and then rotating the bicep. I'm able to get it up higher that way, but you still have this bend, and you know, you can't really get him in a good flight pose that way. So that is what it is, unfortunately, but you do get a lot of range out of that shoulder, despite the fact he has one of the most obscure wing designs ever. They do rotate as well. I did have to heat up his shoulders, by the way, to get him to move that much. By the way, hello sir, how are you doing today? I don't know where that came from, but he does have a bicep swivel, by the way, and double jointed elbow. That does work pretty well. I will say these are glued in to the lower arms and to the legs, the upper legs, so if it pops out, chances are you just wore the glue out, so you know, put it back in. Don't worry about it. He does have a diaphragm joint, but good luck getting that to move with the wings plugged in. It doesn't really matter if it is loose, because, you know, the wings are going to hold it in place. He does have T-jointed hips. They do kick out. They kick back down. They kick forward and back. He does have a thigh cut up in there. He does have a single knee. And I'm not sure if this is neutral or one click is neutral. But I like one click since he's supposed to be a shorter guy. That makes sense to me. And then he's got an ankle hinge with the rocker, as well as a hinge in the toes. We have the rocker up in there. I will say my one toe joint is a little weird. I can't get it to bend as much as the other one. And I don't know if it's because it's placed differently or what, but that's as far as it wants to go. This one bends a little further, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But putting his arm back down. Despite the freaking cumbersome nature of this figure, I'm sure some people are going to be frustrated by it. I really like this guy. I think he's a gem in this line. I think he's awesome. It's freaking Lex. And, you know, some people might not know this if you don't read the slave labor graphics comics, but he's tutti frutti, hot and juicy, or however that phrase goes. He swings on the other side of the fence. He's, you know, more interested in the company of fellow male gargoyles, if you know what I'm saying. So, not to get political here, but just an FYI to all you narrow-minded morons out there. Gargoyles was woke before that was a thing. So, you know, keep your stupid, you know, politics to yourself, please. Like, this is not the environment for that. And it will not be tolerated. I'll just straight up delete and block your butt. So, yeah, and for those of you out there who do swing on the other side of the fence, good for you, you know. We don't judge here. We welcome everyone with open arms. Maybe not literally, but you know what I mean. But I just ask that, you know, learn to take a joke. You know, as long as it's not that big of a deal, you know, just learn to take a joke, right? There's no reason we can't all coexist. So, with that public service announcement out of the way, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. But before we move on to size comparisons, I almost forgot to compare the new NECA Toys Lexington to the old Kenner Lexington and prove to you that I did not just become a Gargoyles fan yesterday. So, taking a closer look at the two of them together here. They seem to have very similar face sculpts with the little smile there. Only difference is this guy has no pupils. He was like one of the only figures in the original line to not have pupils. He does have a tail that doesn't have a wire poking a hole through it though, so I guess there is that. That said, his wings are connected to the legs, but not so much the arms. The arms are separate movable pieces. He's got one grip hand there. He's got a fist, so that's cool, I guess. And you squeeze his legs and his wings flap like that, which is not how it worked in the show. He just kind of hovered, or not hovered, but glided like a bat. He more or less glided. I know they had a whole thing about gliding in the show, but he was the only gargoyle that really glided, or glid, or whatever the proper terminology of that is. So there you go. There's your comparison to the Kenner figure. Maybe next time I should stop trying to make everyone is cool PSAs, or everyone should get along PSAs, and focus on the review at hand, right? That said, what do you want for free? This is my channel. You don't like it, I'll make your own. So, with that being said, let us now move on and take a look at those size comparisons, shall we? First up, here is little teeny tiny Lexington alongside Big Mama Demona and even bigger Daddy Goliath. And yeah, that is not an understatement, because these two absolutely dwarf this little fella in the middle right here, which is accurate. Lexington is supposed to be a bit of a shrimp, as they say. And even though he is a bit of a shrimp, did you notice he still yoked the heck out, as if he lifts 200 pounds a day. So, very interesting there. Moving Demona and Goliath out of the way here. Goliath, I swear, he weighs like 10 pounds. It's ridiculous. Bringing in not so little brother Brooklyn and big brother Broadway. And what a difference that makes. Like, Broadway's pretty big. Brooklyn, not so much. But neither of them are as big as Demona or Goliath. So, very interesting there. That said, Broadway takes Demona on sheer beef chunk and girth, because he is, indeed, a chungus. That said, moving the other two members of the trio out of the way. It's very nice to have them all together. I just wish I had a cloak for Broadway here. That way they'd look a little bit more uniform. That said, of course, this would not be an Overlord Productions review without good old Brother Mandibulith. Which, you know, Lex is a bit of a nerd himself. I could totally see him collecting Mythic Legions in this modern time. I don't think they've done a Gargoyle story in like 2020s, 20-teens era yet. That'd be interesting. Then, of course, we have the infamous 11 Spawn. It's a little close there. There we go. And, yeah, of course, they dwarf him as well. And I guess if you wanted to, you could use Lexington in your Legions display. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Not a lot of bat-like gargoyle figures out there, right? So, with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the potential quality control issue on the tail on my particular figure, because it's my particular figure, I don't have the best of luck. I get it by now. But, man, I wish my luck would change. What do I got to do to change that? Anyone know? Let me know in the comments. But I got to tell you, at the end of the day, this is probably one of the better figures in this NECA Toys Gargoyles Ultimates line, because despite the fact that you'd think he'd be really cumbersome to work with, and in some ways he is, I've never really had this much fun posing one of these things around. Yeah, they're cool when they're posed, but getting there is kind of a pain in the butt. So, for this guy to be as small as he is and as cumbersome as he is, for me to have as much fun as I did posing him, especially like this in a battle-ready, ready-to-pounce you pose like this one, I gotta tell you, there's something to be had there. So, If you've been debating on completing the Manhattan Clan, don't, because this guy is a gem in this line. And hopefully the tail thing, again, is just on my figure, because my luck is trash. Again, gonna have to look into that, and I'll update you guys on that in a future video. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.